So, the fourth piece of our plan is that it has to do with evangelization of society. We can do we can work fast and constantly to try to help people on the street and help people deal with issues as we must do. For example, caring for people who are struggling and trying to evangelize. But we have a difficulty if the whole culture is fundamentally oriented towards self, towards this ego individualism. You know, I always say the only song sung in hell is "I Did It My Way." It's that ego and that kind of thing, and if our whole culture is that way, we can go busy, trying to do all we can to help the poor and needy and all that, but more and more will be coming. It's like if you have pollution, you got to clean up what's there, but you got to look where it's coming from, or you're going to always be cleaning up and there'll never be an end of it. So we have to go to the source of the problems, as well as dealing with more urgently with the immediate problems in society, this civilization of life, not a civilization of death. So we have to get to the roots. And we, I think in our archdiocese more than most, have an opportunity to contribute in that area. So, first of all, let's get to the universities and have a clear teaching of our Catholic faith and chaplaincy and making the Church's intellectual witness strong and clear in our society so that people's views can be illuminated by the gospel. And we will learn the difference between who and what, that we treat people like a who, not a what, that we love people and use things. We don't use people and love things. But that fundamental idea is missing. And for people not going to get this simply, show up at Mass on Sunday. We're going to get the whole society and media and everything is beaming out a message of cold egoism and individualism, and that's the sea in which we swim. And so we've got to change the sea in which we swim, as well as fixing up the particular things that we need to deal with. So we need to build an ongoing partnership with the archdiocese, the parishes, our publicly funded Catholic schools, and students attending secular schools. We need to work with education. This is very important. We have an extraordinary publicly funded Catholic education system in our province, and we need to make it really, not only, we always worry about being publicly funded, but they can be sure it's really Catholic, that it really has these visions of the gospel. We need to work on this in cooperation, parish, home, school, not three islands with bridges between them, but three facets of one diamond. We need to do that. Collaborate with various academic institutions to really help us to have an understanding of our faith and to be able to proclaim it at the highest level. We also need to move this out, get this out in various practical ways to our broader society. This means we celebrate the great work done by groups such as Salt and Light and particular Catholic media organizations. But it occurs to me that the great G.K. Chesterton hardly ever wrote in a Catholic magazine. He wrote in a secular journal. And Bishop Sheen in the 1950s, when I was growing up, he was on public secular commercial television. Because, it's good to preach to the choir, nothing wrong with it, because the choir then can preach to other people perhaps. But it's better to get out there. And so we need to get where people, the secular media, we need to move out into that and to do that. So that's the fourth pillar or theme of our pastoral plan. And we have, because our own area is where the media capital of the country is, we have a chance to do that. We think of the training in the universities like Ryerson, York, and other places where media people are trained. So we need to really help them. We need to have chaplaincy to media people. And we need to have the universities which think up the ideas that show up in popular culture years later. We got to get there to make sure those are wholesome and healthy. It's amazing, even on issues like the family, things you would never think of 20 years ago would be accepted as sort of self-evident. Evil, wrong things are like that. Popular culture can go sideways very easily. So we need to be there. And we need to train people to be engaged in the intellectual apostolate, social communications, and the media. We have a thing where when issues come up, we're training people. In fact, today there's a training session going on somewhere else of people who can come and speak to the media about our Catholic faith and be able to do so in an articulate way.